Hey friends, so I wanted to share with you because my house is quiet and I only have one of 3 children here and she's napping. I sat down to plan out our week for next week and just kind of wanted to share with you my process. And I share this not to say it is the way to plan, because I really think how you plan your week depends on your personality and your preferences and your family's needs. But we're still early into this homeschooling journey, but I'm already a big fan of a lot of how we do what we do in our homeschool can and should be based off of the mom's preferences and personality. And so whenever it came time to decide how am I going to do lesson plans and how am I going to, keep up with how to plan and organize everything, there are so many amazing, helpful ideas out there. But I think it's helpful to really look at yourself and really consider what works best for me and my personality. And so I had to kind of slow myself down and stop myself from overcomplicating or overanalyzing or trying to purchase, the perfect planner. I shared on my Facebook page earlier this week how I think it was an article recently shared by Pam Barnhill from Your Morning Basket. And she basically talks about how finding the perfect planner is not like the key. Like the key is planning in a way that, works for you. And so she has great advice on creating loops and lists and working from a list instead of, like a hard and fast grid. And so I highly recommend that you check out her resources because she's always got great stuff to say. But I wanted to show you specifically how I plan my week through with A Gentle Feast is the curriculum, the main curriculum we use, Charlotte Mason-based education. And we use Math-U-See for our math, but pretty much everything is streamlined through A Gentle Feast. And we do have, I'm going to turn my camera around in just a minute, but before I kind of get going in the nitty-gritty details of it all, just wanted to share there are so many different ways to do it. And this hopefully just kind of gives you another idea or a way to do it. But let me turn my camera around. Okay. So this is kind of the teacher's manual that I did purchase a copy of, and it has all of this stuff is also available online when you purchase the curriculum. But she has this great introduction that walks you through the feast, very helpful. And then she even has like principles for how to schedule this, which is really helpful. These beautiful pages with quotes by Charlotte Mason. She has an attendance sheet, habit training. So then she does have the plans, both for morning time. You can see language arts there. And this is just for like 1 week. Yes, week 1. And, it's all broken down here. And so as you can see, like she gives you, like here's 2 different lessons for the week for geography. And here's, 2 different lessons for history. And so we don't do history every day. We don't do geography every day. Those are some of our loop subjects. We do math every day. We do language arts, which was on the previous page, every day. But anyway, she gives you like, here's what you cover, ideally in a week. So I want to kind of show you, this is something that I do have access to, but she also gives us the plans online. And so like, here's kind of at a glance, the plans for, our form for weeks 1 through 6. So I was glancing through these earlier because we're about to start week 4 next week. And I was just looking ahead to see, okay, are there books that I need to get from the library? And my book list is a separate spreadsheet. But I use Google Spreadsheet to do all my planning. I don't use a paper planner. And the reason why I chose this is because I'm already a Google Drive user. I've used it for 11 years with one of my part-time jobs. I function from Google Drive pretty much all the time. And so another online option that is pretty popular in the homeschool world is using Trello to set up your list. And then you just know, okay, is it time to do history? What's the next lesson on our history loop? And Trello is beautiful, especially if you are, tend to the creative side. It might definitely be your jam. But for me, I had to weigh, was it worth trying to set it up in the beginning? And I decided to begin here. And I mean, time will tell if this is what I stick with or not. But for the time being, Google Drive seemed to be where I needed to begin because that's where I already am a lot of the time. And so here's kind of my process. As you can see, I started with week 1. And what I did, I took a Gentle Feast lesson plans, and she's got kind of a breakdown of it here. So I would just literally copy and paste into the appropriate column for my week. And so I've got my overall subject plans, morning time plans, and all of these have hyperlinks to some things that I need to access. Here's our foreign language plans. And so I just pull all of these up. And so we just completed week 3. So I'm going to add a sheet and title it week 4. And I'm going to copy and paste this over so it keeps this for the most part. And then I'm just going to go in and kind of update each spot. So I'll look over here at my plans and see, okay, for morning time, here's what we're reading. So this is the week I'm looking at. So I'll just copy and paste, okay, here's what our Bible reading is for morning time for these days. I'll kind of adjust things how I've already figured out that we need to adjust them. But I'll look at that set of plans. I'll look at this set, and I will copy and paste it over into my spreadsheet. Now, once I complete this, and I do this kind of every weekend, another thing that I do, and I haven't done it yet for week 3, we've been off this week because my oldest is at kids' day camp, and so I've been kind of lazy. But you can see at week 2, well, here, let me back up. Whenever I complete this, then I print it out and I put it on this clipboard. And this clipboard is how I function from day to day. You can see that's where I check things off. It's where I make notes. If you look over here, I just added notes like it would be helpful for me to print the schedule for our solfa for music. I need to order a new book for my younger son because he completed his handwriting book. This is a reminder for me after we read history that it's better for my son to narrate at the end of each page versus at the end of the book because he's still learning narration. I just kind of keep a journal of here's what we did for exercise. Today was a shorter day with lessons. Like we just seemed to really go through everything pretty quickly. They played baseball before lessons. They helped, we had some tree trimming done. So that was kind of their physical exercise and additional chores for the day, things like that. So I will transfer any of this to my spreadsheet just kind of as a way to keep a journal. And so I'll make notes, like right here. I have, I access this book online, and so I just put, be sure to have Birds of the Air pulled up ahead of time because it takes a while to find it, stuff like that. Make sure I'm reading the geography lessons ahead of time and thinking through how to cover the content. Our geography book, specifically, Home Geography, is a little bit older of a book, and so I just have to kind of think through changing some of the wording to fit our context. So this will kind of serve as my proof of what we did as our lesson plans, from the year. And just kind of a way for me to chronicle week to week, and I can look back on it once we return to this history cycle 4 years from now. So that's kind of my plan. A little bit about, one thing that A Gentle Feast gives us is sample schedules. And this is also in the printed teacher's manual as well. But she just gives you, a sample 5-day schedule or a sample 4-day schedule for each form, and just kind of breaks it down, like about how much time you would spend at each. And I probably spent a little bit too much time thinking through what should our schedule be whenever I was planning on us starting. And finally, I just began. And I just started with the schedule she gave us and just decided, you know what, we will figure it out and we will adjust and flex things as we go and as needed. And so that would be another thing I would recommend to you. Instead of trying to figure out the perfect schedule, just begin somewhere, and you will discern and figure out as you go what is the best flow for your family in any given season. So a few of the things that we changed is just kind of as an example, that I hope this doesn't sound overwhelming. I hope it shows the beauty that we have in the freedom of choosing to do things how we want in homeschool and how it fits our family best. But for example, we do our poetry. The poem that we're studying she has it scheduled only once a week. Well, we read it daily because I just find that repetition is good for them. It's brief and they learn it quicker. And so also, I added a prayer into our morning time, we just say a prayer. We recite a prayer from a children's book of prayers every morning. And again, the repetition causes them to learn it. We also do a nature poem from Sing a Song of Seasons. That's something else that we've just changed and added in.
Hey Shane, how's it going?
My husband's now walking in on the phone. Sorry. But anyways, real life. I've also created this review loop segment where we go back through kind of the hymns we've done in the past, the poetry we've done in the past, folk songs and prayers, and we just kind of cover and review one of those items so that it gives them a chance to see that again and just keep it in their mind and continue to build kind of that storehouse of treasure in their mind. The next thing we do, and this is a change from the recommended schedule, is she has singing down towards the end of the day. We just kind of include that in our morning time, table time, because it's easy to do that. And then a lot of times we'll go straight into language arts after that because we're sitting at the table. And where the boys are doing something different, I have it color-coded. And I do this in life. Like anytime they have something that's the same, like cups or bags or anything, one of them's always blue, one of them's always green. That's just how I keep it straight. And then we can go into these loop subjects: Spanish, natural history, geography, history. A couple times last week we skipped this outdoor play or exercise time. If they still had attention, still were giving me attention, we would go into these one-on-one individual subjects, because I felt like it's hit or miss, and I'm taking it a day at a time as far as, do they need the 15 minutes of kind of break time or not. But what I found is if we go ahead and I move into, say, doing a reading lesson with my 5-year-old, then that allows my 7-year-old to play with baby sister for a little while. And then we'll switch and I'll do math with my 7-year-old while the 5-year-old plays with the 1-year-old. And then back to my 5-year-old for math while the 7-year-old goes and plays. So we just kind of take it a day at a time, and still learning, still finding our rhythm. But that's just some ways we've adjusted. And then we have, of course, our afternoon time afterwards. But that's just a little bit about kind of how we do it. And my encouragement to you is don't overanalyze and try to find out the perfect rhythm before you are in it. Like, just start somewhere and adjust as you need to. Take notes, find the planning system that fits your personality. Don't go out and try to learn something that's not you because you think that it's the thing to do. This has worked really well for us. I print out the spreadsheet at the end of every week and I have it in front of me. If we don't get to everything, that's fine, because I'll just adjust it for the next week. It's no big deal. So I hope that gives you another idea of just a possible way to plan. Would love to answer any questions if you have them. I know that's very specific to a Gentle Feast, but we are loving our feast so far with this curriculum, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I know we just got started on the journey, so we are not experts by any means, but we are enjoying it so far. So hope that helps. Y'all have a great weekend.